IniBuilds have announced that they should be bringing an Airbus A350 to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 next year. They've also announced some other exciting releases for 2024, and PMDG have shared their most insightful screenshots of their 777 so far. Before we get right into that wonderful news, I'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and personally thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your wonderful support across this year. So let's kick it off with the most surprising news we have had for a long time. Now, IniBuilds took to their forum to lay out their 2024 plans, and what a busy year it sounds like it will be for them. And that's excluding anything to do with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Now, at 1600 Zulu today, on Boxing Day, the 26th of December, the IniBuilds Airbus A300-600R will be previewed extensively across the internet, with the launch of its product page as well as showcases by my fellow content creators. Now, the product page is not up yet, it's too early, but when it is, I will link it down below. Now, the Airbus A300-600R is of course payware. It's somewhat similar to the currently available Airbus A310. Instead, this variant of the A300 is actually the final variant of the type before Airbus moved over to the A310, which of course we all know and love on the sim already. So there is a fair bit of overlap, but importantly, this A300 compared to the A310 is longer, can carry more fake passengers, albeit for not as far. It looks fantastic, it's a vintage airliner, it's very different to fly to conventional Airbus A320, but for that, some people might be excited for it. And of course, the fact that this is a freight version means you fly some more interesting sporadic routes across the world. Now, sticking with IniBuilds, we move over to the United Arab Emirates. They've released some freeware for PC in the form of the Dubai Landmarks Pack. It's actually called Dubai Skydive and City Landmarks Pack. It's pretty good. I don't fly in this world all too often, as I do find it a tad boring, but this definitely spices it up a bit, and indeed you cannot complain, it's free. Now, sticking with the United Arab Emirates, moving a few miles away to Abu Dhabi, 2024 will bring about IniBuilds' release of Abu Dhabi International Airport. Here are some early teasers of this airport. It is looking rather fine and dandy. I flew into here in real life a few years back, so it'll be nice to see. Now, jetting back to sunny old England, we have another rendition of Leeds Bradford Airport. This will be released by IniBuilds, and they will be competing with Orbex with the release of this payware. Now, frankly, from these screenshots, I think I know who will win there, but we will have to see. Now, on to the news you all came here for. IniBuilds have announced that next year should bring about an Airbus A350 for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in the form of a payware airliner with two variants, the A350-900 and the A350-1000. Now, we already have a freeware A350 in the works by the team at Digital Flight Dynamics, but as far as I know, this version by IniBuilds is the first payware attempt. Now, of course, details are slim at the moment. We know from the forum that they will be aiming to release it sometime next year. Common sense would make me imagine that this will be towards the end of 2024. We also know that they will be releasing two passenger variants, with the uncertified in real life cargo variant not being discussed directly. In terms of fidelity, now this is a really interesting one. The IniBuilds team has type rated A350 pilots within, which is always a good thing. That is rather promising, and indeed more difficult to simulate features such as onboard airport navigation system, OANS, which is an airport taxi map for all intents and purposes built into the navigation display. That aside, the brake to vacate system, which is a more advanced version of auto brake, will also be included. So it's fair to say, just from features like this being included, that the level of system depth should be high, as IniBuilds themselves say on Discord. Now, in some ways it does sound too good to be true to squeeze this airliner out next year alongside plenty of other IniBuilds projects. But frankly, if there's one team that can do it, it is IniBuilds. They are also working on an Airbus A380, so frankly, I would not be surprised if there are delays, but with IniBuilds' track record, I would prefer to wait because they create such superb products, whether that be Ibiza Airport, the version 2 of the Airbus A320, or that A310. I should also add that almost all of IniBuilds products do eventually end up on Xbox, so hopefully for all the aforementioned aircraft, that trend is followed. A bit of festive mayhem there from IniBuilds with their A350, the A300, a few new airports and plenty of tidbits chucked in there. What are you looking forward to most? Now moving away from IniBuilds, we move into the world of business aviation. Cockspur, who are renowned for their bizjets on Microsoft Flight Sim on PC and Xbox, have confirmed that their Embraer Phenom 100 has left alpha testing and is now entering beta testing. With that, they have shared many awe-inspiring photos, and my goodness, doesn't this versatile little business jet look marvellous? We also learn about the price. This jet will be released for Microsoft Flight Sim, most likely via the marketplace, for just under $27 US. To me, that seems like an absolute bargain. From the screenshots provided, you can see that they are aiming for a high level of simulation with custom screens, really giving that away. I love flying business jets just because you can put them anywhere, so this really is brilliant news. And to end the video, we have a real Christmas present from the PMDG team. Robert Radazzo took to his forum on Christmas Day, so he's not taking a day off, is he? Even I took a day off then, admittedly I'm back in the airport this afternoon, but at least I had one day off. Anyway, Robert took to his forum to give us an insight into the 777, and it's the best one so far. To be honest with you, it looks to be much more complete than I thought. The 4 screenshots shared offer a glimpse into what we can expect. Exceptional modelling with rivets glistening in the sun and paint warping slightly in high stress areas. I know it's not finished yet and I know we're waiting for a lot of information, but it is looking absolutely fantastic. This is the first time we've seen the cockpit, at least from the outside anyway, but what really excites me is not the screenshots, as nice as they are, but instead it's the sliver of information we get about the 777's performance. We learn from testing at the moment that the team are experiencing similar performance to what they see with the 737 family, and seeing as that runs smoothly on most people's devices and systems, I think that we can expect the 777 to run well in spite of its sheer size. What brilliant news that is to receive. Now, I'd just like to say a big thank you to every single developer out there that has made something for Microsoft Flight Sim this year or indeed in the past. It's people like you that ignite our passion for flight simulation and keep that flame burning. So I'd like to wish every single Microsoft Flight Simulator developer out there, PMDG, IniBuilds, Cockspur or not, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and your families. It has been a superb Microsoft Flight Simulator news video today, chock-a-block full with IniBuilds news and some great little bits of information from Cockspur and the PMDG team. On that note guys, I'd like to say a big thank you to you for all your support across this year. It's not over yet, but have a very merry rest of your Christmas. I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.